Okay, let's see if all the sound is now working on. Let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six different platforms. We'll be consolidating one day, but for the moment, six different platforms. This is the 144K full moon mass meditation of November 15th. And welcome for those of you who definitely can hear me. This is your loving servant, the Unknown Light Warrior, on this critical, momentous, and epic event in and of itself. All 144K mass meditations are pretty spectacular, and this is going to be no exception, with the two huge wildcard factors of the full moon conjunct Uranus and the 144K itself being quite the wildcard just on its own. So I'm just waiting for the thumbs up for all six platforms. Make yourself comfortable and continue to relax. Be present. The more relaxed and present you are, the more you channel quite naturally and gracefully your true identity, aka higher self. So I'll be muting for a couple of minutes as we make sure that all six platforms are a definite go. So let's, in the meantime, effectively begin the mass meditation by being in stillness, bringing yourself down to that calm, relaxed, meditative state to thus effectively begin the mass meditation. As more and more people continue to log on, and we are going to transform a world, because that's our business. Okay. It takes me almost a minute just to unmute all 6 platforms. So we will be consolidating, hopefully very soon. With extra resources, we can certainly do that. Okay. Now, I know at least half of you, or any sensitives, will have felt unpleasant energies starting to build up roughly as of the past 2 hours or so, depending on where you're at. And we're going to be doing something not just different, but arguably breakthrough, very breakthrough and cutting edge in nature, which is nothing new for the 144K. So you got that to look forward to and be excited for, because yeah, let's just say it's going to be an interesting ride. And the energies are obviously peaking. And thank goodness we not only have the power to deal with it, but we actually exercise that power at the times that matter most, which is generally not the, convenient Sunday 20-minute meditation, which of course doesn't hurt. But it's usually the new moons and full moons, typically, that the dark ones make their main moves, main operations, preceded by rituals. Thankfully, the 144K is always there. So for those of you who've just joined, take your preferred position, bring yourself to a centered, relaxed, and as always, detached state. Because your I am presence has no needs. So connect with that. See yourself in a gigantic crystal ball. Remember the golden rule of seeing the non-physical or visualizing in order to actualize on the non-physical. And that is the rule of instantaneousness. It's there even as you set the intent. See all the astral or golden light bodies of all your fellow 144K brothers and sisters, whose souls certainly know each other, dotted evenly on the inside of the equator of this gigantic crystal ball. Visualize to actualize. That's just the way it works when utilizing the so-called magic of projecting consciousness from this unique physical density to anywhere else, really, let alone the non-physical. Let's call in Gaia. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic Goddess Gaia. Please be here with us. Can we please have your permission to take you up with us to managers of multiverses? Now, see you go in the middle. See the beautiful white polar ice caps, the blue oceans, the clouds over the oceans, and some continents. And now we start to move up through the layers of this universe. And as you allow yourself to be calmed, soothed, relaxed by that soft, flickering light through the walls of the crystal ball, centering you even more, feeling even more present with the present. Knowing that freedom is unavoidable. You can't avoid it. And that freedom and return to truth is going to come for active starseeds first. Now, for those of you who work consciously, I guess, with any guides, feel free to call them in now. We are going to transform a world. And this multiverse, for that matter, since what we do here just has a fundamental, if not complete, impact on all that is. Like a nexus planet, I guess. So after you've finished glancing at your guides, glance over briefly at the dotted golden ring. That is all the other 144K members right here, right now. And Gaia, see Gaia, as we're essentially, energetically, and therefore literally cradling her. Adore and admire her beautiful polar ice caps. as we're about to break through that last thick outer boundary of this universe. And then all of a sudden, everything goes bright white. As we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. And we're through. You see the big ball of light beneath us, that is the universe that we just left, rapidly turn into a small ball of light, and we rise above a whole ocean of small balls of light, that is the neighboring universes in this neighborhood of this multiverse. And then that turns into a somewhat hazier ball of light, and we rise above a whole ocean of small balls, well, hazier balls of light, that is the neighboring multiverses. And all that just disappears. Feel the stillness, the absolute serenity. As you take that last glance at Gaia and your guides, and I just quickly run through the standard protocols. I call upon the one true authentic HOD. Authentic HOD, please make sure we go to you and no one else. True HOD. And you look up through the roof of the crystal ball and you see a point of white light way up above. Getting bigger and bigger and brighter, and the whole roof of the crystal ball begins to light up. And we finally reach it. We come to a sudden, yet somehow gentle stop, and we slowly and lovingly move through this thick platform of light. As we move through it, closes up at the bottom, opens up at the top. Very intense light. Such super high frequencies up here, above all that is. we rise above this platform of light. We form a straight line behind and above Gaia, with a beautiful view of the northern polar ice cap. And the crystal ball begins to peel. From the very top center, slightly and evenly, all the way down. Not too fast, of course, because this is quite a decompression. Now look upward at this very big, very translucent very little in the way of form, but they certainly look like light beams. And feel what they feel like. They have their own unique energy signature, especially if you're new. And use their energy as well, because you're getting pumped full of super high frequency and light, very primordial in nature. So if you're new, just do your best to stay awake. Again, this effectively begins the mass meditation just by having Gaia up here. Much less yourself, and just being up here clears your field. So use this opportunity to not just feel the energy, but to go deeper into meditation, stillness, and a profound, deeper presence. To learn the true meaning of the word presence. Authentic God, please send us a massive wave of your energy to our heart so we can truly feel you at the heart level. And have a little bit of background consciousness on your chest. Allow yourself to notice the energetic difference. Of absolute presence, supreme centeredness, therefore in a true meditative state. Okay. Restore some consciousness back onto your guides if you have them, otherwise onto Gaia and the heart in the background. I'll quickly call in the rest of the teams. I call upon the infinite army of the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. And while I'm calling in the rest of the teams, I suppose be mentally open. When I say do pay attention to what else of your non-physical lineage shows up. Because 144K mass interventions are always mass gatherings and focal points, I guess, of mass light. I guess we really put the mass in mass meditations, that's for sure. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. I call upon the team of beings that created this universe and physicality. as the ultimate, as it turns out, strategy to corral all dark and contrasting energies and consciousness back into alignment with the divine throughout all that is. He presents himself as a man. You can see him as a golden being of light off to the right, perhaps, wherever it suits you. Okay. Lots going on, to put it mildly. This is turning out to be quite a confrontation, which I know is nothing new to the 144K. This is our specialty. This is why we were formed, ultimately by our collective higher aspects. Okay. And yes, the physical dark ones are ritualizing like crazy. In case you're not sensitive to that. Energies never get difficult for no reason. Just doesn't work that way. Take a deep breath, slowly and deeply, through your nose. Okay, repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my soul and its massive might. Never mind purpose. See it as kind of like a distant star up above the HUD. Visualize as you see fit, based on your unique energy system here to serve that unique purpose that only you can do, know it or not. And lastly, repeat after me. I call upon my authentic oversoul and my I am presence. And see those respective bigger balls of light behind your soul in whatever color you want for the sake of visual contrast. Unleash your power. Ironically, by detaching, not trying, being, and at the mental level, accepting. And as you're settling and acclimating and connecting with this vast multi-levels of light, keep in mind that when off-world or inner earth contact, or whatever form it shows up in, actually occurs for you because you're active, the only real emotion and mental sense that you're really going to feel in a big way is not necessarily immense joy, I guess. What you're really just going to feel is a strange and new form and deeper sense of truth. Like truth is going to be restored, of a kind that's hard to verbalize. It's very hard to, properly explain. And some of you may have sensed that, I guess, just by me verbalizing it. We're going to get back to that a little later. Lots of cool stuff with a capital C coming your way. All right, so look at the teams. A minimum of 2 of them at a minimum. In the background, we go in the foreground in a white quarantine sphere to certainly minimize anyone getting hurt, because operations, well, the ones that make a difference, are what they are. As you build up at a far higher level, your faith and knowingness of the impact of your consciousness, when you align it with your unique soul purpose and task that is quickly arriving to you as I speak. So look across, look at Gaia in the foreground, the teams in the background, as I and maintain that vision as I begin to verbalize what needs to be verbalized. Authentic Legion of Light. It is November 15th, full moon in Taurus, conjunct Uranus. There is currently, although they're certainly not as powerful as they've been in the past, there is still physical dark rituals occurring in real time throughout the past 24 hours. Let's just begin. By shutting those down 100 times, if not 1,000 times faster, by taking us to the space and place of omnipresence. Everything turns white. as we are taken to omnipresence. It's so bright, you have to squint your eyes. Very penetrating, intense, super high frequency. White light. And it disappears. And everything looks the same. Get ready to fulfill your unique purpose. My job is to move you into position safely, protectively, supportingly. Authentic Legion of Light, it is November 15th, on a full moon, conjunct Uranus in Taurus. From the space of omnipresence, can we begin for about 10 minutes or so, shutting down all negative energies, entities, vortexes and portals being opened up and invoked by physical dark rituals. Glance down at the quarantine sphere, and in accordance with your soul purpose and talents unique to you, hold the intent of seeing everything, everywhere, all at once, in other words, omnipresence, and pick a holographic single color of Gaia to represent omnipresence. So all densities, physical and non-physical, including spaces in between, down to the quantum and subquantum level. And if it helps, you can see those long, far-reaching rays of your almighty I am, way over on the other side, in the upper periphery of your vision, to remind you of your fundamental omnipresence and literal God powers. And detach. Just be that non-trying silent witness, and anything dark, black or grey, turn it white, hold for a few seconds, and watch it disappear. We're just going to do that for 5 or 10 minutes because obviously they brought up a whole load of garbage. So just follow that protocol and clear, clear, clear. Rapid fire, non-trying. The intent has been set. Be the witness. And as always, the secret source. Be willing and open to go beyond your current reference points and level of consciousness. And see what the teams, at a minimum your I am, are doing through and because of your consciousness. Okay, she appreciated that. And although it's important to be non-trying and detached, keep in mind, if it helps motivate you, that all this filth and garbage is on the body, the temple of the goddess. And although there's a higher purpose of it, I suppose, needless to say, it is beyond sacrilege. It's way past that. But that's what it took to track all opposing forces that wouldn't quit into one spot. So just do rapid fire. Transmutation on mass from omnipresence for another 5 or so minutes, so then we can get down to the really awesome stuff. To get a grip on things. And as always, if it works for you, engage. The incredible right hemisphere, non-linear mind, via so-called imagination, to be able to receive, visually speaking, more. Again, the more we clear, the more the light forces, physical and non-physical, off-world and terrestrial, can do. Dead set. So once you transmute something, turning dark into light and watching it disappear, leaving a stunning indigo, holographic indigo or holographic magenta or violet color, whatever it is that you do or prefer. You can try to return Gaia and the quarantine sphere into a light color or white color to be able to see again, and then just do it again for another 5 or so minutes. You can zoom in a little where you're just outside the quarantine sphere. Just make sure you feel this mass hierarchy, basically, of light working through your consciousness, through your energetic field, and melting away anything dark into light, restoring Gaia's sacredness, getting rid of all this filth.
Okay. And don't worry about getting it right or wrong. Throw caution to the wind. Trust in your true identity and supporting beings of light, and just let them come through you. A lot of amorphous garbage coming up as we do this for another couple of minutes. Okay, that's some sort of a really thick layer of God knows what uncovered, deep within the crust in terms of depth or elevation for that matter within Gaia. That's just getting cleared now. I'm feeling it too in terms of Gaia's relief. And for the first time, some of you may be feeling it as well, especially if you're sensitive. And don't hold back. Really go for it. Ironically, by being more present with an internal vision and trying less. Okay, now don't allow what I verbalize to distract you, but I'm seeing one of those after layers of black stuff have been cleared. I'm seeing one of those, I suppose a dark version of, those electric balls where you put your hands on one of those, I don't know, plastic balls, and there's this electricity bulb in the middle and it fires off little bolts of electricity and all towards the surface of the plastic round ball. Can't remember what they're called. Anyway, I'm seeing one of those from the core of Gaia. And you'll be seeing what you're pre-assigned to see and deal with per your unique soul task and what you're built for in terms of your own ability. For those of you not doing anything in particular, look up at your soul, Oversoul and I Am, and just tune in. Feel their guidance through your chest. and hold in the lower periphery of your field of vision as you're looking up at them. Allow whatever dark grey shape or form it is that you're specifically here to transmute off of Gaia's temple, the sacred and divine goddess, and clear it using the same old protocol. It can all be done in a matter of seconds. In fact, it often is. I'm just having to. Okay, good. And quite often the image is faint. Remote viewers, for example, when they get something accurately, it's typically faint image. So it's totally fine, just as effective. Always remember to play around. Thanks to the seemingly limitless power of consciousness when projected from this physical deep level of density to anywhere else throughout all that is, it just really, literally activates God powers. That's what the ultimate reason why we're here for. Use it so that it's all worthwhile in the end. For those of you that are not doing anything in particular at this particular point, as we wrap up, move white tidal waves of transmutational light throughout the continents. Again, see Gaia holographically. See the coastlines of the continents in that very faint light grey colour. Some of you may be yawning away. That's actually a good thing. And I'm just finishing up here with the core of Gaia and connections. And they look like, well, they probably are wormholes. But the dark ones have opened up, walking around in circles at 100 miles an hour. At the Vatican, Crown District of London, some other places. And we withdraw our consent and agreement to all of this. And occasionally return your consciousness, or at least some amount of background consciousness, back to omnipresence. Otherwise, planetary liberation really will take forever. This is why off-world groups are hoping, and our higher aspects are expecting us to use more of our mostly dormant abilities. My job is to get you there. There's quite a few dark realms. Again, they just appear as spheres, as dark realms do at the whatever size that they're at. As small as an atom, or as big as a Volkswagen, or as big as a universe. Size doesn't matter in this sort of game. Allow yourself to go into an even deeper meditative state and non-trying as you hold that relaxed vision. I found something heavily infected, pretty dark, but at first I thought it was a pentagram shape, but it's turned out to be, interestingly, more like the logo, the symbol of Space Force, with something horizontal going through it. And that's been found and getting cleared. Some of you will be familiar with that funny shaped stylized capital A kind of logo for Space Force. Okay, it's turned magenta. Okay, cool. All right. Finish up if you haven't already. Take a bathroom break if you need to. As now, we're going to work on something really cool. We're going to bring in a whole new level of light from well within the surface area of Gaia. And that's where the, I suppose, more concentrated thickness of the surface layer of dark is. So what we're going to do to transmute on a whole new level is we are going to return our focus back to those double-sided emerald pyramids. That we anchored in our last mass meditation as stage 1. We're now about to commence stage 2. We just had to do this initial cleaning up because their black magic rituals are off the charts. In spite of the fact that they've got way less to still a okay, so you appreciated that as well. So, return your focus in a visual, holographic way. To the double-sided emerald pyramid. So one is connected at the base of the one pointing up, one pointing down, connected at the bases, respectively. For those of you that did participate in bringing in that, your double-sided emerald pyramid into your region or neighborhood for that matter, because many of you are on critical grid points or nexus grid points. Return your focus there. For those of you who did not participate in the previous mass meditation, visualize, or better still, pick a grid point that you know of is a big deal. For most of you, it'll be well-known nexus points such as, I don't know, Bermuda Triangle or Los Angeles Basin or somewhere along the 188-degree ley line or Vatican, Syria, the goddess pentagram and vortex in Syria. There's Grand Canyon. There's quite a few places. There's a massive convergence of ley lines in the part of Utah. Giza Pyramid, Machu Picchu, whatever, wherever. Or it could be a hotspot, a current global geopolitical hotspot, such as Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Vatican, a central grid point in Germany, which is always important. So just pick one of those. Doesn't really matter as long as you got one. And see, because we've got these emerald pyramid, double-sided pyramids sort of everywhere in our last mass meditation, beginning to anchor and integrate themselves deep within this wayward subquantum dark energies. And you can sort of zoom in, like through the quarantine sphere. It's safe to do that now because we've cleared so much. Through the quarantine sphere to that part of the world, you know, that critical grid point that it has a huge impact on the rest of the surface grids of Gaia. Oh yeah, Uluru, Australia. Those giant pyramids in Antarctica. You have the option of activating, of focusing on more than one. Either way, pick one. And zoom in through the quarantine sphere down into the, again, my suggestion is indigo background color of Gaia's surface and core inner area, and just connect. And don't worry, these, again, if you weren't here on our last mass meditation, these double-sided emerald pyramids come from extreme high levels of light through or from the heart, love, core of our respective I am. So once you've picked one, or two or three, I'm focusing on one, two, three, four, five, six throughout Arizona and Utah. So if you're in the East Coast, you may want to focus on Central Virginia as one example, where there's a big convergence of ley lines, or as guided. And then zoom in again. And start connecting with these emeralds, emerald pyramids. Start connecting with them. It's like I don't know. Many of you will be familiar with those smart glass pads that Corey Good used to talk about in Cosmic Disclosure, how they simply respond to your consciousness, or anti-gravity craft, both terrestrial and non-terrestrial, how you control them through your consciousness. Kind of like that. Now these double-sided pyramids dissolve subquantum anomaly. And at the core of the energy that they bring through is unconditional goddess love. That's at the core of transmutational energies. And start to bring through see, for lack of a better term, just on the outside, I guess, of these emerald pyramids, white transmutational light. Some of you will get glimpses or full-blown visuals of beautiful, stunning, often rainbow-colored lines, basically, grid lines in the surrounding areas around these emerald pyramids, beginning to light up. And just play with this for a minute. And just play around, because this is a massive, massive shift, massive detox for Gaia in the grids within the heart, central area of the most heaviest concentration of subquantum anomaly. You can call it dark matter, antimatter. That has long since served its purpose. There's another beautiful gust of wind outside. Now, allow yourself to see, because it's safer now, because most of the garbage that they've invoked, we cleared. Otherwise, mass meditations don't go so well, as evidenced by one that my partner recently participated in. See over the horizon of the surface area of Gaia, with the holographic surface area of Gaia that you're focusing on with that emerald pyramid. See the teams, at least two of the hard, and I am as a distant star on the other side. So really let go. This is a critical fundamental to working with energy that serves you massively when doing your own internal work. Opening up your mind or level of consciousness is what it is. Freedom lies beyond, just a little beyond your current mental boundaries, level of consciousness. So use so-called, that infamous misnomer, imagination. As you begin to very slowly. Now, some of you may prefer the term because you've got this mental, more conditioned mental reference point that the matrix allowed you to have, which is simply source light. If that works for you better, then run with that. Bring in source light outward, like a thin holographic expanding white membrane, expanding slowly outwards from your double-sided emerald pyramid of your choice. And there's ripples of light sort of really bubbling, for lack of a better term, lighting up. Even on the outside of these expanding thin, but insanely powerful, transportational white membranes of light coming out, expanding outward through the, or at this point, around the emerald double-sided pyramid. And just sit with this. You don't have to cover the whole country or state that you're in, because you sort of got to meditatively settle into this energy and vision. Visualize to actualize. And the beauty of it is faint images through your so-called imagination works just as well. So have no fear. And when enough light reaches or comes through the surface, it's all over. As in, rapidly quickening the final phase of planetary liberation. And obviously we're in the final phase of planetary liberation. I just prefer to skip 6 months of garbage down to, 6 weeks. Again, the 144K employs the energetic equivalent of compounding interest. And now, there's already, almost earthquake or ripple-like breaking up of thick metal-like billions of years of old status quo energies. That's the best way I can verbalize something profound that is cutting edge. Because we're really focusing on the third and fourth density, physical, subquantum level. And even though it's on the same plane, the advantage here is that because it's subquantum and we're using sacred geometry, among other things, it's more responsive to consciousness when projected from the physical through physical bodies. Otherwise, the so-called Galactic Federation would have done it ages ago. And this is something to really meditate on, kind of lose yourself in, for lack of a better term, visually speaking. So maintain that vision and focus on receiving what happens in terms of the vision, because your intent has already been set. I'm just going to be quiet for a couple of minutes as we, getting warmed up for the next stage to transform life on the surface of this planet into 3D and 4D, especially for those of us who are ready. Meditate on this vision. Where are you being guided to, visually speaking? Receive. Open up. Receive the image. Go inward. Be the literal God that you're here to be. Okay, now just verbally, well, repeat after me to make it easier. Authentic soul. Over silent I am. Work through my heart and energy field more. Now really let go, and if you have to, if you need to, imagine a rush of energy, for lack of a better term, come through you from behind and out the front. It's the best way I can verbalize it. And sort of visually hover over, or just outside, your chosen double-sided emerald pyramid. Now these things, most of them are mostly underground. You know, the top capstone is sticking out above the ground. That's why you'll want to see it holographically. And let's all synchronize visually and therefore energetically speaking. See that incredibly powerful transmutational outer membrane that's expanding outward. Like a holographic sphere expanding outward from around and outside your chosen double-sided emerald pyramid. And within it, you can make out magenta, unsurprisingly. One of the main unique colors of Gaia, goddess Gaia. It's okay if you see violet or even light blue, as they are colors associated with goddess. And just have a quick zoom in within this profound pocket of light. And you can see all sorts of, or allow yourself to see in this quantum and subquantum anomaly free zone, all sorts of natural, restored, cleared, activated, rainbow colored, crisscrossing lines, vertical and horizontal. It's like ley lines, Hartmann grids, what have you, on steroids. Really, really amped up. And just to be clear, the actual literal size of your chosen double-sided pyramid can be anywhere from the size of a house to the size of a football stadium. for frame of reference there. But from any far away vantage point where you see your whole state or country, if you're in Europe, you can see it as big enough, visually speaking, as a representation. That's still fine. Now zoom out if you haven't already. Repeat after me. Authentic Legion of Light. Authentic I Am Presence. Oversoul. Soul. Guides. Authentic Hod. And all hierarchy of light. Through and because of the unconditional love within my heart, and by the mandate of heaven, by the decree and command of Goddess, completely dissolve and transmute all quantum and subquantum anomaly and all negative energies and entities and realms. And dark consciousness that exists within this throughout the third and fourth densities of the physical plane, throughout the surface area of Gaia. Okay, once again, see the surface area in whatever dark toned holographic color you want. At a minimum, your I am way over at the other end, and at least two of the HOD in the background, just over the horizon. And look in the foreground, your chosen double-sided pyramid, and that white spherical filament being powered by and through the double-sided pyramid. Expand that further out, further away. Slowly, because this is, I would even say, unprecedented, let alone profound and massive. Negative, sludge-like, rigid, as all get out, negative energies within the quantum and subquantum anomaly. Really close to home, you know, the primarily fourth density, but there's still some third density involvement. Holding that intent with the command, verbal command made, you expand it out slowly. clearing all quantum and subquantum anomaly, aka antimatter or dark matter. So just to be clear, no form, kind, or type of negativity or dark can exist within this cleared pockets that we're slowly expanding. I'm trying to use an analogy. Think of a massive block of metal, iron or steel, a humongous one, and deep within it, you're expanding light that's dissolving it, like as if you're dematerializing it. Into empty, pristine space. That's what we're doing. Subquantum level. It's hard to comprehend the degree and level of detox. Yeah, and fundamental energetic shift that's the biggest and most rapid ever. So, because your intent is set, receive the imagery, the vision, in order to actualize in whatever way it comes to you. I'm going to be more, I don't know, basic and broad with my guidance so that you have more, I suppose, visual autonomy, for lack of a better term, in alignment with your unique soul purpose and therefore respective talents that your unique energy system is built on. And always remember, you do not have to get it too precise. It can, again, abstract visualization and playing around with size seems to always work just as well. And if it helps you, you can put primary vision on these expanding mass transmutational spherical membranes of light, slightly expanding outwards, just forcing kick up and ripples in the immediate area surrounding it before it moves through it. This is a big shift where you can barely see the emerald double-sided pyramid in the center of it. That would be getting smaller and smaller because you're continuously, expanding the outer transmutational outer spherical membrane or filament of these balls of light. And once you're in that very receptive, meditative, visual state, then expand it out. Because when you're doing something like this, it's always the slowest at the beginning, because this is the beginning. And then it gets easier because more and more has been cleared and the sphere gets bigger and bigger. Subquantum level. 4D and 3D, physical plane, sub-quantum level. That's highly responsive to your consciousness because of the fact that you are in an incarnated physical body. Projected from the physical surface where the gods reside. This is going to be a profound acceleration of so-called compression breakthrough for Cobra subscribers. Meditate on this, kind of lose yourself in this energetic phenomena, unprecedented. And we're going to, in about a minute, we're going to start to increase the outward expansion of these specifically designed, I guess you can call them pockets of light. Remember to take that occasional glance way over on the other side, over the horizon of the surface of Gaia at your I am. At a minimum. Expand it a bit more. And if you're in California, I wouldn't really worry about Mount Shasta because that's taken care of. You really want to focus on where darkness has really concentrated itself on what was beautiful sacred goddess areas, which is San Francisco and LA. There's a reason why they've energetically trashed those places. Take no prisoners, because now you don't have to. We're just taking our time in this early process because these critical nexus points or grid points that impact the whole planet, they're the most hotly contested and therefore focused by darkness. We all know what kind of crap that they build on top of them. Thank God for the 144K. Otherwise, planetary liberation would take forever, with far greater casualties, with all due respect to other civilian starseed groups. on the surface. Okay, hold the intent casually of what your soul wants you to see, and then do a visual refresh, for lack of a better term. The way you refresh a tab. I suppose it makes sense to work from the smallest of the small, which is beyond the quantum realm and into the subquantum realm and so-called sub-Planckian level, the third and fourth density, physical plane, because that seems to be just as responsive to how projected consciousness
90
from the physical as it is when you project your consciousness from the physical to any non-physical plane, that energetic phenomena. And once you're sort of settled in this meditative visual state, totally surrendered, you can begin to expand out slowly, but solidly, for lack of a better term. This specially designed, tailored spheres of light. And if it's possible or easy for you, you can hold a very faint visual of the double-sided emerald pyramid that, within these expanding spheres of light, and see, again, just on the outside, I guess, of the outer perimeter of these expanding spherical filaments of light, see like an initial resistance and rippling, reverberating, whatever terminology works for you, within the subquantum level throughout the surface, well, primarily the surface area. As the subquantum realm, subquantum anomaly, and all the garbage within it, no matter how ocean-like or amorphous it may be, when just dissolve. Even before the outer expanding filament of these growing spheres of light reach them. So be, in a non-trying, instantaneous way, extremely deliberate with that. and just meditate on that vision. As you slowly begin to expand it out, radically accelerating planetary liberation. We can't connect to 5D energies if there's so much crap in the surface that produces disconnection and a frequency distance. We're clearing it thanks to our zero tolerance policy. So now that we sort of get it at a conscious mind level, and you're sort of really accustomed to it now, you're really into it, you're with it now, you get it, your consciousness is with it, to slowly keep on expanding. Receive the image. Your intent is already set. It's important to be aware that we're expanding these subquantum dissolving spheres powered by these double-sided emerald pyramids at this point, deep in the heart of them, inside or well within a sea, an ocean of blackness. That's it. So if you can imagine the vast scope, mammoth size and volume of the heart of the Pacific Ocean or deep in the Mariana Trench, where even a big pyramid will be looking pretty damn small, and expanding a sphere of light within that's what we're dealing with. All right, let's expand it out now and see, even before or on the outside of these expanding spheres of light, especially their filament membranes, light up the grids, clear the grids, clear the blackness, even before them, because it's so intensely powerful. It's like how you can feel extreme heat when you move your hand close to something that's hot. Same deal. There's that response, kick up, reverberation, whatever the term is, well outside the proximity of this expanding, specially designed outer membranes or filaments of balls of light, basically. And these emerald double-sided pyramids that are in the heart of these ever-increasing balls of light, they've still got way more power to go. So it's always the thickest and therefore the slowest at the beginning of such a process. All right. So I'll just call them balls of white spheres for the sake of brevity. Expand them out now to pretty much half the size of your respective state. If you're in the US, or country, if you're in Europe, or wherever part of the world your soul directed you to. I'm having to focus on 6 at the one time throughout Utah and mostly Arizona, being so central. As the outwardly moving balls of light or spheres of light originating from the emerald, double-sided emerald in Tempe, in Phoenix and Sedona, Arizona. They finally met together and formed instantaneously into one sphere. And now, before we really expand it out, to start finishing up, C. Really hold the intent that this is at the subquantum level, physical plane. It's really gaining mass, profound power. Now, repeat after me. We call upon Ashtar command. We call upon the Agarthan network of light and all positive civilizations of inner earth of the authentic light. We call upon Jupiter command. We call upon the Galactic Confederation. We call upon the Galactic Central Sun races. We call upon the Intergalactic Confederation. We call upon all of you to move in, both energetically, physically, and literally, into these pockets of light. within the surface that we have just opened up. Move in and occupy and liberate. There's areas of light that we are now holding open with our consciousness. Throughout the physical surface area of this planet, quickly set up your domains of light and presence using your technologies to take over and hold space. Within these pockets of light, we are holding open right now with our conscious focus. Now see all sorts of primarily discs just flood these areas. See that in whatever way works for you. So this is the kind of situation where you can have a disc, craft, ship, or some kind of positive technological construct. It's hard to describe this stuff. In your neighborhood, including your house, your city, etc. That they will temporarily occupy until the planet is fully freed. But will free active starseeds like you and me way quicker. This will facilitate contact, whether it's remote, auditory, or telepathic, or literal physical, whatever, where they can reach you, help you, support you, mentor you, heal you in actuality. Pockets of subquantum anomaly, lurker free, crack free light. Well within this sea of blackness, which is what we've been living in. All right. Now, I see all sorts of magic like, I don't know, mini domains of lives, sacred geometric structures of life being set up by their magic-like technologies. Feel their presence all around you. Have at it. We've blazed the trail, opened up the space. All right. Now, have a little bit of consciousness deep into the center or the heart of these now big spheres of light with their intense burning white hot transmutational outer filaments along the outer membranes of these expanding spheres or pockets of light. Zoom into that initial double-sided emerald pyramid. That's now obviously looking pretty damn small. And really now feel its power, because it's only been at about 15 or 20% volume of power. We're going to turn it up. Feel it. The power of a squillion suns. Nothing can stop it. And I'm using that analogy to expand your consciousness to that level, because it's that level of consciousness that's going to get us free. And now, slowly expand out that sphere or pocket of light powered by the double-sided emerald pyramid in the heart of it. And cover your whole state or whole area. Pay attention to the incomprehensible mass clearing transmutation of the thickness of the subquantum anomaly. At the 4D and 3D. Feel the intensity of it, transmuting subquantum anomaly throughout the surface. And you may hear or even feel, I suppose, pretty ancient dark technologies. They've been here for millions of years. Kind of diffuse is the best way I can describe it. Powered down, diffuse, and just become innate, inert, and then starting to dissolve. And really feel, get a visceral sense of the, again, that outer reverberation is the best word I have for you. Very hard to verbalize this sort of thing. Of the fundamental underlying governing energies within the quantum and subquantum realms of the surface area of the 4D, 3D physical plane just shake up, break up. Pardon me. Really run with that and expand it out past the boundaries of the respective country or American state. And the bigger these things get, the more powerful they become. They start combining, uniting with other, expanding spheres. And when that happens, they form into one sphere. But still deep, well within, you know, the surface and crust. And black sea, for that matter, of the quantum and subquantum anomaly or dark matter. And, you know, zoom out if you need to. And have fun. Be the witness. Hold the intent. Subquantum level, third and fourth density of the physical plane. As you be the witness and the God that you are, feel all positive light forces off world groups really powering up their technologies, their participation as we have invited them. Really dissolving things. And now all you see is just these, again, from far away, they'll look like bright balls with the power of your I am, the power of the cosmic central sun, the power of Father Sun. It has to be done through our consciousness because of our consciousness projected from the physical. Is a very surprising little known secret, or the fact that it's a little known secret is surprising, is what I'm trying to say. And expand it out. Feel, and as you do expand that out, really feel the depth of, you know, however many miles of Gaia's crust and lower atmosphere. All these crisscrossing grid lines, a lot more than just the ley lines, lighting up, you know, preceding these outer auric membranes of their spheres as before they reach these grid lines. Let's make sure we got Syria and Israel, Palestine covered. the Vatican, our favorite place. We certainly don't want to forget Switzerland and Germany. And see the grids light up, being cleared. Subquantum realms, third and fourth density of the physical plane, lighting up, and keep on expanding these spheres, completely liberating the critical grid points of the surface of Gaia, where we're trapped or have been trapped. Again, this will radically accelerate remote or physical contact from our off-world brethren and heritage for active star seeds initially, radically accelerated. Obviously, by now, the expanding spheres throughout Israel and Palestine and Syria have united and formed into one massive ball. Let's not forget Ukraine. All right, the ones in Europe have pretty much combined together into one giant sphere. Africa. So just go over each continent. Balls of sphere. And some of you may be seeing the faint magenta or violet color in the central area of these expanding balls of light. See disks, galactic, inner Earth, whatever, Ashtar. Ships, typically disks, just flooding inside these pockets of light, ever expanding. And at some point, there's going to be a giant explosion of light throughout the whole planet, basically. Some of you may have seen that already. As you continue to meditatively receive this image, as the intent has already been set. Relax. See massive. We're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. See massive fleets. You know, just obviously just outside our extremely limited visual range of our physical eyes. Massive fleets of dozens of different star nations just naturally appearing, because like attracts like, naturally appearing in within these pockets of light that we have opened up. Isn't that amazing? Just profound. China, the Himalayas, have at it. All right, I think we saw that explosion of light, because once we reach that critical mass amount of anchoring of light at the subquantum level, physical plane, third and fourth density, it inevitably just caves in and collapses and just explodes into light. I think I felt her there. Gaia's relief and presence. Again, share in the Telegram chat any synchronicities, whether it was just before or just after. Congratulations, 144K would become a massive, far greater, closer frequency match to our off-world brethren, inner earth brethren. The ripples and tectonic surface area energetic shift is profound. What else can you say, hey? Everything looks magenta to me. The whole surface. So let's see how, far this goes. The profound impact. What those telltale signs are out there in the coming days of our success. As we finish, you can let go now. As you can imagine, the setup for the 1122 144K intervention is perfectly positioned and poised for even a far greater breakthrough, compression breakthrough. And yeah, what can you say? What can I say?
but another huge debt of gratitude from all that is to every single one of you. I really want you to receive that, especially from your whatever off-world, in some cases inner earth heritage you hail from. Receive it. Just receive it. As all that is extends the most profound gratitude and love to you for being that missing piece here on the physical surface that enables that mass intervention of light. And let's just see what happens now. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Well done. And don't forget to leave any worthwhile feedback in the Telegram chat, because this is cutting edge breakthrough stuff. The 144K once again leading the way valiantly. And that's why I salute every single one of you. This is your loving servant, the Unknown Light Warrior, officially closing this physical broadcast and mass intervention to restore freedom and truth, returning back to truth of the real way of existence. See you all in 7 days for that critical exit point of this transitional passageway that started from 11/11 into a very different world, thanks to you and what you're doing. So see you on the 22nd, beloved one. And watch your inbox.